They at first remove the clothes that you're wearing. If it can be removed easily, then they remove it in full, and if you can't, then they cut it and remove it. After they remove the clothes, they cover the satar, that portion from the navel to the knee, which is farz for men to cover at all times. Therefore you're not allowed to wear any pants that is above your knee, haram. You wear pants that is below your knee, because that is a farz duty and law of divine law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and don't violate that. So they covered him with the satar from the navel to the knee, and they began the ghusl. He was such a arif of Allah and such a great wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, observing all the sunnah of the beloved Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam while he lived. His taqwa was immaculate. He had a splendid disposition. His way of life was stunning. I lived with him, I served him for many years, and I know, I traveled with him, I know how big muttaqi and how pious he was. So the satar was covering his body from the navel to the knee, and while giving the ghusl, sometime, I mean, it was a very sad occasion. The great Arif and great Murshid-e-Kaamil had passed away. Imagine your Murshid, you're giving ghusl to your Murshid. What will be your emotional condition? You'll be very disturbed. So while giving ghusl, somehow the other, a small portion of his knee, the cloth folded over and his knee was exposed. When his knee was exposed, there was an immediate reaction from his body that he took these two fingers, the shahada finger and the next one, the center finger. Immediately he went and he grabbed the cloth between that two fingers and he pulled it over. Allahu Akbar. He pulled it over and he covered his knee. Now, he's been declared clinically and physically he had passed away. That man has passed away. But what is causing that limb now to move when the man has passed away? It's a reaction of the heart. No limb can move if the heart doesn't consent. No leg can move if the heart doesn't consent. No eyes will see an object if the heart does not consent. It is the final decision of the heart. That heart then relays the message to the brain, which activates the nerves of that portion of the body that has to be moved. So the heart has to be alive. For you to move your hand, you have to be alive. There must be a consent from the heart relayed to the mind, and the mind will send the message to these nerves and muscles of this portion of the body to move. So how did he, and this has been observed by those who were present giving the ghusl, and one of the persons that was present there, Moulana Abdul Palmer, who was present there, he saw this with his own eyes. He held the cloth, pulled it down, and he held it there till the ghusl was over. When the ghusl was over, then he moved his fingers and released the cloth himself. Now he has knowledge what is happening. He is observing what is happening, how long the ghusl is taking. As long as the ghusl took, he held it down. And then when the ghusl was over, he was aware of that now his ghusl is over, therefore he moved his fingers and released the cloth. So what is it that is making him do these things? Meaning that his heart, his real heart, the qalb haqiqi, the real heart that harbors the amana and love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never dies. Even a person clinically dies, but his inner heart where that secret is, that is always alive. Now, there are many incidents that such things happen after the person passes away. There is physical reaction which will say that the man is still alive. When the man is still alive, that means to say that if the original heart and real heart that harbors the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when that is nurtured and when that is complete, that will keep every organ of the body alive. Right? And such is the state of the prophets of Allah, that though they pass away, according to Sayyidina Imam Jalaluddin as-Suyuti radiyallahu ta'ala in his Khasais al-Kubra, he says that when the soul of the beloved Habib Sayyidina Mustapha sallallahu alayhi wasallam was removed, and for a moment, splits of a moment, he had passed away, and immediately the soul was returned to his body. Right? So there are many incidents that took place at the time of the ghusl of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and when he was placed in the qabr. Why? Because a prophet of Allah is always alive in the love of Allah. It's his mission. His mission is to promote love. Promote love among the people. And those who are imperfect, it is the station and demand of the station of prophethood, that to perfect the imperfect. That is the mission of prophethood. To perfect the imperfect and lead them towards Allah, and inculcate in their hearts the love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a very great wealth. Love, you have to work towards it. And it is a great blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those who have been blessed with the gift and with the wealth of love in their hearts. So you work towards it. You must work towards it. Be conscious about it. When Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was placed inside the Qabr Shareef, in his Lahad al-Mubarak, right? In his Lahad, when he was placed inside, Lahad means grave. The difference between the grave, a normal grave, and Lahad, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam's grave was a Lahad. The Lahad and a normal grave is, a normal grave you dig straight down. That is a normal grave. You place the mayyit there, and you cover the mayyit up. That's qabr. Lahad is you dig down and you dig in. Follow? L shape. You dig down and you dig in. Right at the floor you dig in, and you place the mayyit inside there, and you cover that portion, and then you cover this portion. So the sand doesn't fall directly on the body. That is the lahad. That's how Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was buried. So the burial of a lahad is sunnah. To use a lahad is a sunnah, right? So when he was placed in the lahad, and before placing him in there, the final ziyarah, you know, the last ziyarah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, obviously, who doesn't want to take the last physical glimpse of the glorious, splendid face of the beloved Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then it was opened, and inside the qabr, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's cousin Sayyidina Qusam ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala. Sayyidina Abbas was the uncle, father's brother, and Sayyidina Qusam was the son. Sayyidina Abbas had three sons: Sayyidina Fadl, Sayyidina Qusam, Sayyidina Abdullah. So Sayyidina Qusam was standing by the headside. When they opened the kafan of the Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam to make the last ziyarah, Sayyidina Qusam ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu saw the lips of the Nabi moving. She was moving, and he knew that the prophets are alive. For that split of a moment only death comes to them, because it's a promise of Allah. Kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut. So he knew the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam was alive. So what he did, saw the lips moving, he took his ear towards the lips, thinking that maybe he's giving us a last final nasiha, some command, कोई हुक्म फरमा रहे, तो सुनने के लिए कान आपके लबहाए मुबारक के तरफ आपने झुका दिया कि सुने हुजूर क्या फरमा रहे, आखिरी क्या इरशाद. Then he heard the Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rabbi habli ummati, Ya Rabbi habli ummati, Ya Rabbi habli ummati. It was a concern for us. Oh Allah, bless my ummah. Oh Allah, bless my ummah. Oh Allah, bless my ummah. That was the love and bond the Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam had. Sarapa ishq. He was an embodiment of love. In every angle you look at him was love. Therefore, his His magnetic force of love was so great that if anybody looked at him, his vision got locked on him. And he automatically began loving the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam uncontrollably. बेख्तियार हुजूर से मोहब्बत करने लगता. अल्लाह ने ऐसा कमाल का हुस्न और कमाल की कशिश हुजूर नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के चेहरे अक़दस में दी कि जिस शख्स ने देखा वो रफ्ता हो गया. He used to get locked onto the glorious face of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One sahabi, a sahaba of the Nabi alayhi salatu, एक sahabi थे, उनकी आंख की रोशनी चली गई, became blind. The other sahaba, family, friends, companions, वो सब गए दुआ कर रहे हैं. या saying you also make dua. sahabi जिसकी रोशनी चली गई वो कह रहे आप भी दुआ करो. कहने काय के लिए दुआ करो? What must I make dua for? He said, make dua Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala return your eye, your vision. Sahaba जवाब देते हैं, या अल्लाह कैसे लोग थे, इंसान कैसे इंसान थे. Sahaba replies, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ने आंख एक काम के लिए पैदा किया. There is a reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this eye and given vision in this eye. And since that reason and vision has been fulfilled and the eye has fulfilled its duty, therefore there is not necessary for my eye to get vision back again. साहब पूछते क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप भाई? इसने Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the eye for a reason, and when the reason is fulfilled, there is no reason for this eye to operate and function again. You say, what is it? You say, Allah created this eye to see the beauty of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. जब आंख ने जमाल मुस्तफा को देख लिया, अब इस आंख का कोई काम ही नहीं है. It has fulfilled his duty. Now why should I make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to return my vision? It has done its job. And it is now captured the beautiful face of the Nabi alayhi salatu salam and placed it in my memory, and I can recall it whenever I want. So I don't need the eyes now. Ab jo, the real vision of the beloved is not kept in the brain. The real vision of the beloved is kept in the heart. इसलिए दिल से मोहब्बत करते, अक्ल से मोहब्बत नहीं होती है. Love is not done through the brain. Brain will start analyzing. कैसा है, ऐसा है, बड़ा है, छोटा है, खूबसूरत है, बदसूरत है. This all the brain will speak about. लेकिन दिल, जिस पे दिल आ गया, चाहे वो बदसूरत हो, काला हो, गंजा हो, लंगड़ा हो, लूला हो, जब मोहब्बत हो जाती है, मोहब्बत हो जाती है. This is the heart. That's why you say a man sold his heart in love with the beloved. Sayyidina Ghousul-Azam, Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, Ghousul-Azam radiyallahu ta'ala an, who knew love better than him in his time? He was Sayyidul Mahbubeen. He reached the pinnacle of love to such an extent that he became the Mahbub and beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, you love. See, difference. एक है Habib और एक है Muhib. Muhib is the lover and Mahbub is the beloved. We are lovers of Allah, but we are not beloved of Allah. Big difference. Like you see a woman, I love the woman, you're a lover, but not necessarily the woman loves you. When the woman loves you, you become the beloved. And to be a beloved is the highest order of excellence you can ever in the world of love. So Sayyidina Ghousul-Azam was not only a lover, he was also a beloved. He was also a beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Mahbub Subhani, Ghous-al-Samadani, radiyallahu ta'ala. He was a beloved of Allah. Somebody asked him, Muhabbat kya hai? What is love? You know what he replied? Muhabbat diwangi hai. Muhabbat is, in crude language, insanity. Aadmi pagal ho jata. Pagal? So what do you mean? They say the lover will not want to hear anything beside the beloved. He will not want to speak about anything beside the beloved. He will not want to look at anything beside the beloved. and he'll have no relation with anyone beside the beloved. That is worth